Hello and welcome to the Nordic Takedown spoiler special. My name is Jason, the Captain Kirk. I'm here with Victor and I'm here with Adam. And we have a super special bonus video for you today. We have been given a spoiler the first time for us as Nordic Takedown. So we are like super, super psyched for this. We tried to get all four of us, but the three of us were available. So we went with it. Jonah, we miss you. But Victor, you pulled some strings, got us in there last minute, and
Huge thank you to Jack.
yeah,
Like he's the community manager at F5G, and he really came through for us.
yeah, awesome. And thank you to also our rep, Johan, as well, who was involved there. So great, huge thanks to FFG for bringing us in on the spoiler season for this, for Secrets of Power, our set 6. So without further ado, should we just hop in and look at these exciting cards?
Let's go.
Victor, you did the hard work getting us this. Be my guest and announce it.
I want to present to you Wilrow Hood. Like this is the quintessential background extra running past in the scene for a full 40 frames of film or something like that, and just getting that whole backstory already back in Empire Strikes Back. And it's just what Star Wars fandom was always about, just obsessing over every little frame in the films. And now he's got a card. Wilrow Hood on the run. He's a 3 cost, 2/5. And he's got text. He's French traded, and he's got some text. He has the text: while this unit has exactly one friendly upgrade on it, that upgrade can't be defeated or returned to hand by enemy card abilities. And yeah, I forgot to mention he's a blue, a vigilance card,
Mhm.
neutral blue. So yeah, that's the card.
Excellent. So we're going to do this with both cards, and we're just going to answer these questions. When is this card good? Whether it's good or not, it's going to be relative. When is it good? Are we looking at a good card here? What can it be useful for?
Two things. Like there's
Mm-hmm.
there's two things here. So the stats aren't that bad. A 2/5 with, if the ability is interesting, which it might become at some point, 2/5 is good stats for 3. It's not
Mm-hmm.
great stats, but it's good stats. Especially if you're looking at what he's probably, the role that he could be playing is if you're looking at some kind of upgrade deck, which is trying to utilize a certain upgrade. Usually nowadays, you have to put it on your leader to make it stick.
Mm.
Now, if you put it on Wilrow Hood, it might have some extra benefits. You can't just confiscate it or do something with it. So it's going to be slightly more sticky on Wilrow Hood than on even your leader. Of course, Wilrow himself is not as sticky as a leader. So it depends on the meta, but this could be, if a deck is really relying on one or a few different kind of um, upgrades, he could be a character that could play a role.
Yeah, I think he is. I don't really agree with the 2/5 being a good stat line. I think it's a bit undercurved, but it is because he has actually, like you, Jason, talked about it just before. If you get a shield on this guy,
Yeah.
he can't die unless you have a removal spell, and certain colors doesn't even have removal spells,
No.
which means the arena is locked.
Yeah.
And that is pretty strong, which means he's a must kill, a little DJ light. You must kill on the spot. Um, I also think him in combination with a shield card in limited, if there are not a lot of removal, will be really busted. Um, because
Yeah.
then you can go with a later game leader, stuff like that. Um, so like all other upgrades are not as cool in my opinion, but the shield one can be really annoying. And I think it's going to be good for control decks that wants to just stop aggro,
Yeah.
in a sense, because aggro wants to ignore units, but they probably can't ignore Wilrow Hood.
Exactly. And if you think about especially up against control decks, Power of the Dark Side being one of those cards, which is like a 2-turn removal, very common, it's wasted. You're
Not on
not
him.
going to be able to get.
No, not on him. He can
He
die.
dies to that. He can die. You can't defeat the upgrade. And that's why I'm not too keen on shields, maybe,
Yeah.
because I think they have slightly too low impact, maybe. But if
Of course,
there's if you have something like the way you play Darksaber right now,
Yep.
just having it be confiscated, like the expensive upgrades, the high impact upgrades. Uh, right now, you can pretty much only put them on your leader, and you're going to have to pray that there's no upgrade hate. With Wilrow Hood, such an upgrade. I'm not looking at Darksaber for this one, but slightly more expensive upgrade, maybe 3, 4, even 5 cost upgrade that has huge impact for your deck, maybe a combo deck of some sort, then you could protect it on this guy.
I am mostly thinking right now of Kira, though. Like, for example, if Kira faces another control deck, it's not that bad if he dies to a Power of the Dark Side or a Takedown. But aggro decks don't run removal. So you play this guy and then you ping 1 damage to give it a shield. So then he's shielded. The aggro can't get through. It's because does this work if the aggro attacks in to the shield doesn't die because it can't get defeated?
Exactly. That's how I interpret it. I'm not sure because I don't know exactly how it works.
Is it by enemy card abilities? So
no.
if you're attacking into it,
that's by enemy card abilities. Okay, okay,
exactly.
So you
can assume that the shield would
I think what I'm learning on the spot here, reading the card explains the card. It's the upgrade that can't be defeated, not the actual unit as well. So it does give that, and obviously those shields are really important. It could even be that one experience, whatever it is that you.
But you can knock off the shield with units. Okay, so you can't lock it completely.
No, I don't think so.
No,
but I do think if you put something like a Sentinel upgrade on him,
yeah, that's cool.
Then it sticks. So Kira could definitely use something like this, but keep in mind he can only have 1 upgrade on him.
Yeah.
If there's more than 1, it doesn't work. So shielding him and putting an upgrade on him won't work.
Doesn't work. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just the 1 upgrade.
Okay.
So it would
a bit more
struggle in the
fringe.
decks with I guess when if you're putting an upgrade on there, maybe you're bringing Traitorous on it to bring it over. That's still an upgrade. Giving something else when it says give a unit an extra experience, you can give that in order to take that off the that trigger, take that trigger away.
So I said 2 things. I think there's another thing here, and that's in limited. So in limited, upgrades can be super strong. But I don't know about this set, if there is any upgrade hate in it, or if there is any upgrades that are worth playing in limited. But even like something like Ascension cable in this set we have right now is pretty strong in limited. And if you get something quite vanilla like that on him, but the set actually runs a lot of upgrade hate, then this becomes really good. Because you have a early unit, by the way, where you can put something on him and make him really good, and they can't just remove the upgrade. And we can see in decks like Mother Talsin right now in limited, that's often a game plan. You just put some upgrade on Mother Talsin or on a Karis or on a pretty much any unit, and it becomes really hard in limited to handle that because the set has very little upgrade hate. If this set, on the other hand, has a lot of upgrade hate, running Wilrow would be pretty much the best way of actually utilizing any upgrades in the set.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Another thing we'll find out when we see more coming out. I haven't seen a huge amount of upgrade hate. I don't know if Adam,
No, not too much. But before we move on to the next card, I think we should all say, and let's start with you, Jason. Do you think it will see play?
I think it will. I think Han Solo is another deck we can bring it out early. A 2/5 coming out on turn 1 is another good opportunity to that. I think it is a very strong early play card, especially after rotation.
Victor?
Yeah, like 2-5 is actually on curve stat wise, and anything that's on curve like that is a sum of 7 for 3, so that's right on curve. Anything that is on curve is always going to be interesting and limited. So I think this will be a decent to good card depending on what the set looks like in limited. But having only 2 attack, that is very characteristic of blue cards. They're often more on the health side than the attack side. So he doesn't really add anything new to the blue card pool as it looks right now. So if we don't get these cases that I've already talked about, I don't think he will see playing constructed.
Yeah, I am of the same. Maybe after rotation, because we don't really know. I think a lot of some of the cards have been not as powerful as set one, which means maybe there is a spot. But since you can't completely lock arenas, which I thought, I am gonna say that this is limited or nothing in competitive, but decent in limited. Uh, so yeah,
Great. Well, there we have our first card. If you agree, disagree, please comment. Please engage us in conversation. We'd love to hear what you think. But let's go on to card two. Adam, please be my guest and announce this card.
all right. So this card is called Blue Ace. It's from the Resistance show, which none of us have watched, but we did check that for you. And it's a cunning heroism card. 4 cost. Blue Ace is, of course, a space. 4/5 stat line, resistance, vehicle, and fighter, with ambush, which is always good, and an on attack ability that is kind of meh. It's not good for you. Ready and exhausted enemy unit. That's not what you want. But it could also be nothing, depending. You might just ready something and kill it. So, all right. First reactions, Jason, on this card.
I like it. I first of all, I was initially like, but ready and exhausted enemy units. But if you're coming in on turn 3 with an ambush with this, you ready the unit, you're gonna attack, and there's no big issue. It's a very high stat line for turn 3. And the only thing that it has risk for is if it's maybe later in the game and you want to attack the base with this turn 2, you're going to have to ready something unless you're running some kind of blue yellow control with where you can clear the board beforehand. So I think this is a very strong card for a stat line. Talking about curve, I think it's higher for the curve. That's my initial reaction. I don't want to take up all the points. That's my feeling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. Like you get on curve stats. These are stats that would be on curve for a ground unit. He's got 9 points of stats for 4, which is on curve, but he's got ambush. Very rarely do we see on curve with ambush, and extremely rarely in space. So
Yeah.
that's why we have a drawback on him. So on attack trigger here is a drawback, sort of trying to mitigate for the strong stats and the ambush. And I think that you can play around that drawback quite easily. Often when you're ambushing anyway, you want to do that first thing. Like you start with the ambush. So there's nothing to ready. Or if it's not, you're going to ambush into the thing that you readies. And so this is, I don't think this is going to be a drawback that makes the card hard to play. It's just gonna have to you're gonna have to be conscientious about it. And like you said, obviously when you go face with it, you might end up in trouble. So you might want to go face with it before they have exhausted anything of consequence. So your opponent can obviously play around the card as well if it's already on the board. They might attack with a big unit early to make you not able to attack with this one. So there are things, and this is great card design. I love this because it gives for skill expression both on your part and on your opponent's part. You get access to a strong unit, but you have to actually work with it. That's perfect. I love this.
Yeah, I think the card is very good for aggro. And it's not
Mm.
like if it didn't have the drawback, it would be so good in more mid-rangey controlling, which it won't be versus aggros unless they are just having the one unit. Because if you can keep the initiative, this wall will never be a drawback. Then you can choose to go base or whatever you like, more or less, which yellow aggro deck tends to be able to do. We'll see if it's like Sabine yellow goes so fast, so maybe this is a little bit too slow for it. But I think that's where it's going to be, and it's going to be. We talked about limited before. This one will be pretty disgusting in limited.
It is a rare, so we won't see it as often.
Yeah.
Maybe once. If you see this in limited, it will be once in the pool.
Yeah.
It's a bomb in limited.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It will help. Like more love for space decks, basically. Or like aggro decks that needs to defend against the space decks, like could also use it. Like if you're slower than something, like in particular, you can use this as your sideboard card for that as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've been playing a lot of Akbar, for example, and it could go quite nicely into Akbar, for example, as as something to level the playing field there, as just one example. But again, like you said, it's an aggro based card, something to really come in, take control, and even make that important trade that you need to.
It is almost certainly a 2-for-1 in an aggro deck.
Yeah.
So it's very good for that.
It has Kanan stat lines with ambush.
Yeah.
And that's pretty good. Like,
that's pretty good.
It's all gonna end up on how bad that on attack ability is after, like the upcoming rounds. How much does it hurt? Like, does the opponent ignore it because they know they can restand the restore boys every turn, which will like that is what's going to define if it's going to be really strong, or niche. But I personally don't think it's going to be trash.
No. I think that is good card design.
Yeah.
Yep. I think it's a good card design, and I think it'll be a staple in a few decks.
Also,
personally.
Resistance is a keyword that hasn't got any support that we've seen yet. In terms of, there's a lot of it, but there's very little that actually works off of it. And maybe we get to see some of those small things come to fruition at some point. And that would be really cool.
Yeah.
All I'm thinking aggro-wise is the BB-8s and readying.
Yeah, exactly.
For example, there's not a huge amount that can run off that.
But it looks like there will be a little bit more of resistance in this set to help out Poe and all these cards.
Yep.
Yeah. I was thinking maybe a Poe yellow. We could start seeing some Poe yellow
Could be a thing
in here as well, with that kind of aggro pilot resistance synologies.
Could be a thing.
There. Great. Well, I think we've answered whether it will see play already. But there we go. There are our 2 spoilers. Thank you again, Fantasy Flight, for entrusting us with this. Thank you for supporting us and getting us to this place where we're nearly hitting our 1,000 subscriber mark. So if you haven't yet subscribed, please hit that subscribe and help us make over that huge milestone. And as always, we will be in your ears every Thursday, and we will be in your eyes in a couple of weeks' time for the Sweden PQ, if I can say that any more weirdly. But until then, thank you, Victor. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, listener. May the force be with you. Bye-bye.